I believe that you learn the most about yourself and you learn the most about others when they're outside their comfort zone.
True.
Or when we're outside our comfort zone. So then all of this is like to get people to the point where when you take a person who says, I don't think I can do that, and you say, well, why don't you just climb up and see how you do? And then they climb up, and then you say, why don't you just get up there? And, it's all safe, and it's, there's a ton of support.
But if you're afraid of heights, it freaks you out.
But if you go further than where you normally go, there's a release of energy.
Yes.
And that release of energy is free energy. That's available energy for you to create a new future. That's available energy to heal. So in these week-longs, we've had 2 so far. I'll show you some of the videos when we break here, and it's really powerful, really powerful. And to challenge people to that measure and to get them to believe in themselves, there's no greater drug.
Yeah.
There's just no greater feeling. And then imagine, you're up there and it's not competitive. Everybody is down there cheering you on and loving you.
Yeah, you're right.
You can do this. And, people in their 80s, do that. And then when it comes to the walking meditation, they heal their body in 1 hour, walking as their future self. I mean, it's just outstanding. So I'm super excited about it because I've stopped doing my progressive workshops. I've stopped doing the intensive workshops. I don't do keynotes very often unless I owe somebody a favor. I don't do conferences that much. My passion is to be with doers.
Like
I'm a
real
doer.
transformation.
Real transformation. Evidence. I mean, this is a time in history where it's not enough to know. This is a time in history to know how. And I'm so proud to say that the community of people that we have around the world, they do the work. They just do the work. They just wake up in the morning and they change their brain and body, and they get their heart open, and they get in that state, and they expect the uncommon and the miraculous and the unknown to show up in their life, because why else are we doing this? People think they want health, or they want wealth, or they want a new relationship, or they want love. It's not that. It's who you become in the process. Because every person that had a spontaneous remission, and I've interviewed so many of them in our work, they'll tell you that my disease was my greatest teacher. They'll tell you it wasn't my mother, it wasn't my father who was abusive, it wasn't my uncle, who was abusive. It's just who I became in the process. You can't take that away from a person, because it's not the wealth. It's you become. You become the very thing. And so people are starting to wrap their mind around these concepts. And when you start understanding that, the only thing you want is the unknown. In stress, you run from the unknown. When your heart is open, you crave it. It's an adventure. And so people are evolving because of it, and they're doing the work. And we have the evidence to show that common people around the world are doing the uncommon. When the moment you start feeling no reason, and you're doing it from inside of you, and you start seeing the effects outside of you, you'll believe you're more of the creator of your life than less of a victim in your life. Because you say to a person, why are you so sad? Why are you so unhappy? They'll say, I'm unhappy because of my ex-husband. I'm unhappy because of the job. And what you're basically saying is that your outer environment is controlling how you think and feel, which means you're a victim.
Yes.
To your outer environment. But when you're regulating internal states independent of the conditions in your external environment, and your environment starts to shift and change, then you're going to realize that, oh my God, I'm never going to react to that person again, because the moment I do, I just return back to my past. And all of a sudden, people start getting it, and they start spiraling out of their lives into new lives. And it's happening more and more, and it's happening in a shorter amount of time because people are feeling more connected. If everybody is really saying, well, I don't like that person, or I don't like these conditions, does that exist in me at all? I think if everybody's doing that, it's not about the person out there that's doing what they're doing. It's about principles. And principles are not based in polarity. If you're left or you're right, or if you're male or female or gay or straight or vegetarian or carnivore, or it's all based on polarity. But principles is what unifies people. And so I'm very optimistic about the future, because I'm optimistic that there's goodness in human beings when they finally get beyond their past. People, a lot of cultures believe that they get a hex on them, and that, or a curse on them, and that their life is ruined. But really, they're only suggestible to information equal to their emotional states. Mm-hmm. So if you're into crystals and you're giving your power away to a crystal, it's not the crystal that's healing you. It's your thought that the crystal's going to heal you. Well, there may be some energetic effects, but really, in truth, that I think so many people place their power outside of them. And when we come preloaded with all the machinery biologically to do this. Yes. And you witness in our events people who are doing it, and your jaw drops and you say, wow, if that person did that without any help, mm-hmm. then it must mean that I need less assistance from my outer world. So people, they could only accept, believe, and surrender to thoughts that are equal to their emotional state. Mm-hmm. And they will never accept, believe, and surrender to any thoughts that are not equal to their emotional state. So many people give their power away to a planet that's 93 million miles away, and they say, the reason I have anxiety is because Mercury's in retrograde. Well, no, the reason you have anxiety is because you created anxiety because you kept selecting the worst case scenario in your future and emotionally embracing it and conditioning your body into the mind of fear. And the planet has nothing to do with it. And it's when people start realizing that they have the power to change. And we've all done this. Everybody has done something great in their life. And what do? You make up your mind. And you say, I don't care how long it takes time. I don't care how I feel body. I don't care what people think or what's going on in my life environment. I'm going to do this. And the decision becomes an experience that you never forget. And in that moment, you emotionally are giving your body a sampling, a taste of the future. And if you did it every day, your world's going to change. And I've been at this for a long time, and I can tell you that nobody changes until they change their energy. Nobody changes until they change their energy. And when you change your energy, you change your life. It's the law. And so then you got to be able to stay in that energy for an extended period of time with your eyes open in your day. And when you do, get ready, because you're going to have coincidences and synchronicities and opportunities that are equal to your energy. There's a vibrational match between your energy and that potential in the future, and you're not going anywhere to get it. Like Newtonian physics, dragging your body through space. You're the vortex. Yes. You're drawing it to you. And when you start seeing those events happen, the energy you feel from that experience inspires you to create the next one. And all of a sudden, here we go. People are stepping out of those programs. Philosophical, theoretical information is for us to initiate, to apply, to personalize, to demonstrate. And we do that properly, I think we have new experiences. And those new experiences enrich the circuits in the brain, and those experiences create more profound emotions. And now we're teaching our body chemically to understand what our mind is intellectually understood. And if you keep reproducing an experience over and over again, you will neurochemically condition your mind and body into a new state of being, and you'll begin to master that philosophy. So the talk I'll do, really, that I want to do, is going from philosopher to initiate to master, from knowledge to experience to wisdom, from mind to body to soul, and from thinking to doing to being, or learning it with your head, applying it with your hands, and knowing it by heart. And I want to set the stage so that people are enthusiastic about all the speakers and all the content. How is it that we can begin to create changes in our outer world? Well, quantum physics is one of the new sciences that says that reality isn't really the way we perceive it, that we're perceiving momentary experiences in matter as particles, but there's an infinite field of information that's giving life to everything material. Mm-hmm. And when I was going within and reconstructing my spine, I was observing a possibility, an outcome. And when I started to emotionally embrace that state, my body, as the unconscious mind, began to believe it was living in that future reality in the present moment. Now, the latest sciences in genetics say that genes don't create disease. It's the environment that signals the gene that creates disease. Well, I started thinking, well, the end product of an experience in any environmental moment is an emotion. So when you start to embrace the emotion ahead of the experience, you begin to signal the gene ahead of the environment. And genes make proteins, and proteins are responsible for the structure and the function of your physical